Gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for such an productive, informative session out here? We literally came to know what is monkey work and donkey work. Hence, we'll definitely implement this. Let's move ahead to another power-packed panel discussion. Well, just to put a brief, MSME play a very essential and a very significant role in increasing the welfare of developing or developed countries. They are the prime movers of the business and a significant contribute to job creation, economic development, and globally. That's not even globally. We definitely need SMEs more in our country. But SME have been seen to contribute to the economy directly through their provision of new products and services, job creation, and economic growth. So let us move to this another session of Power Packed panel out here, which will be coming here, empowering SMEs with government support and growth aspects of India for MSMEs. Well, on doing the honors, I shall now request our moderator on board for this next panel discussion, Mr. Kaushik Chandra, business coach, action coach. Can we have a huge round of applause, everybody? So he shall be moderating this entire panel discussion out here. Following him and joining them on stage will be Mr. Amaya Pradhan, business coach, action coach. Come on, everybody, can we have a zeal full of huge round of applause? Of course, this is going to be one of the most informative and educative session, I promise that. Joining them on stage will be Divya Mumaya, founder, Mentor My Board. Gentlemen, can we have you on stage, please? Also, joining them on stage will be Mr. Prashant Thakur, Senior Director at Anarok. Mr. Amaya Pradhan, Mr. Divya Mumaya, Mr. Prashant Thakur will be our key speakers out here and the panelists out here, moderating by Mr. Kaushik Chandra, business coach, action coach.
So I think it's a privilege of us on behalf of Action Coach to moderate this event with dignitaries like Mrs. Devia and Mr. Thakur here. Amaya, me, and Shaji sitting out there, we are all a part of the Global Action Coach team where we work together with the entrepreneurs and in the life of their business. So without wasting our time, let's know. We are today with Mrs. Devia and Mr. Pranab Thakur. So starting with ma'am, right, we would like to know about yourself a little bit because the audience would like to know about you.
Thank you so much. In fact, let me give brief introduction about me. I am Divya Momaya, founder of a company, Mentor My Board. By profession, a company secretary with 20 years of industry experience. And working very closely with the boardrooms, I saw there were huge gaps at the board level, especially, when we really talk of the boardrooms at the SMEs and MSME level. I mean, it's more of solopreneurs. The boards don't exist. A person acts, even if a private limited company they own, they act like the proprietors. So that was probably initial phases where I thought of creating a platform to make or mentor the directors on board. And just to set the context, we do a lot of initiatives for women directors, independent directors, promoter directors, and even aspiring directors who want to be on the board of other companies. I mean, creating advisory boards and all. And last year we did Women Directors Conclave where we had Honorable Finance Minister gracing the occasion for us. This year we did Independent Directors Summit where Dr. Kiran Bedi was with us, and she had been a great support to us, and happy to kind of come with us in the journey of governance. So that's a little bit about me, and really working towards building more sustainable companies. You need to have better governed boards, and that's what we are working on. Thank you.
Thank you, Divyaji. It was really same. I think a round of applause will actually, help us to go ahead with a lot of interactions here. Amaya, we know each other, but a lot of people don't know you, so a little bit of yourself also.
So yeah, apart from what you saw on the slide about me, I'm extremely passionate about success. That's why I talk a lot about success. I talk a lot about helping people, bringing happiness in their life. And the occasion I chose to do this was through coaching and mentoring. You know, I helped myself become very resilient during one of the toughest phases. And at that time, decided about 16, 17 years ago, if I had to ever change my profession, it would be aligned to helping people, helping businesses. It eventually turned out to be, helping businesses. So that's what I am. I stand for freedom, love, and abundance. Anyone wants that in their life, I'm the person to come to. Thank you.
The spiritual guru.
You may say that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, a round of applause again for him, though he has already spoken about us a little bit more. Mr. Thakur.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Prashant Thakur, and I'm really excited and glad to be part of this conclave. By profession, I work as Senior Director and Head of Research for a company called Anurag Property Consultants. By qualification, I'm MBA in Finance with a Chartered Financial Analyst degree. Been working for 20 years, and I'm kind of passionate about helping the startups and startups means different things. In an organization also, various teams can also be a startup. So rather than working in a more traditional way, I prefer encouraging my teams to work as an entrepreneurs, take responsibility of their respective teams and output. And that's where, the concept of freedom, creativity, and the enjoyment that you derive from what you do comes in. So yes, so glad to be part of this vibrant setup. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pranab. And with this, actually, let's start through the forum. And here we are today to discuss about empowering SMEs with the help of the government and thus creating a growth aspect. That is what the subject actually we are in here today. So I would like to ask some few questions so that our audience wants to understand how SMEs are getting benefited because of the government policies actually, and how it can be reflected and can be used more. So starting with Mr. Pranab, because I'm seeing you there, what specific government support programs can help an SME to grow?
So, first of all, let us understand the contribution of MMSEs and SMEs in the entire economy. So today, 30% of the GDP, it's attributed to MSMEs and SMEs. And they, collectively create a job of, almost 110 millions. That's a huge number. The second thing we must note is that at one point of time, companies like Reliance and other big names that we see today were SMEs and MMSEs. And they took almost couple of decades to reach where they are. But luckily, with a lot of government support and the ecosystem that is kind of evolving, I think that journey can be covered by any aspiring entrepreneur in a very short span of time. Now, in this background, I think the government has recognized the importance and contribution of the SMEs and MMSE sectors because we want to be a 5 trillion economy by 2025. That's only 2 to 3 years down the line. So they have rolled out various schemes. First of all, what are the needs that MSMEs would need? Is number one is the financial assistance. So in terms of Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, then credit guarantee scheme that the government is rolling out for the entrepreneurs, that takes away the bottleneck when it comes to financing. The second part where the government is helping is by providing a lot of grants and subsidies. Now, for example, let's say you want to set up a plant, the government will facilitate by giving you some shops. The third important part is providing critical training, which I think government is actively playing role by setting up a lot of MSME institutes and setting up a lot of funds with the government to empower and train the local bodies over there. And then the fourth important piece that government is doing is creating infrastructure. We are seeing a lot of integrated ports, a lot of logistic parks coming in, a lot of incubators that are coming in, which are kind of enabling people like you and me to kind of get encouraged and take that step towards entrepreneurship. And the last and the most important part is that government is providing a huge marketplace by mandating certain amount of procurement from the SMEs and MMSEs. So these couple of things that that the government is taking, I think, is creating a positive ecosystem. And we also should not forget that India is a very young country. 65% of our population is in the working age bracket, and we are a country with a very high aspiration. And that's where I think SMEs and MMSEs play a great role in fulfilling our individual, dreams and aspiration.
Thank you, Mr. Pranab. And with this, I would like to come to Mrs. Devier. I'm talking about, I take the cue from your thing that, what is the government playing a role? How is the government playing a role in providing skills encouragement to the MSMEs out here? And before I talk to you, and today we are on a very special day because we are in this very special week actually. The 27th June was the World MSME Day, and we are in the same week talking about the MSMEs. Okay, but I feel that we should not talk it about only one day, we should talk it about every day. Like, we only celebrate on the particular day and then we forget the last 365, 4 days about it. I think we should take a place that we should talk about it every day and everywhere, right? That's how it goes. Yeah, over to you, Mr.
Thank you. I think definitely we also, I'm not really sure the date, but we also celebrate this National Skill Development Day.
Yep.
Now, when I see from my lens, the skill development, I think is a very, very important, phenomenon where, and I think National Skill Development Institute, NSDC Corporation, so that also is working very, very, big time for skilling the entrepreneurs, skilling the employees. And I think when we really talk of the SMEs and MSMEs, one thing overall, is the entrepreneurs more of, they feel, and especially MBA, mane badu avde che, that I know everything. But it's always learning and upskilling, which is, required for a person to keep, and that's where I think, people like Action Coach or Mentor My Board come into picture, where we, kind of help people to continuously sharpen the skills. And I see that, the person who keeps learning is the person who keeps leading. Now, government has taken a lot of initiatives, like MSME has its own institute where they, kind of impart lot of skills. And I was reading the statistics where NSDC itself, they've, I think, more than, 1,000 crore, something like that, is the kind of involvement in terms of money, which has, they have put in to make sure that India is skilled India. So I think that is, a wonderful initiative, and lot of initiatives are happening. But when I really see the ground level, I mean, the schemes which are coming up, how many of us really go and take benefit of those schemes? I mean, I was probably going through the GEM portals, information. GEM is government e-market. And I saw that there were close to 7,40,000 companies or the players have been registered on the GEM portal. Now, how many SMEs and MSMEs are there in India? Any wild guess? Any guess? Yeah, so close to 6.5 crore. And on the GEM portal, we only have 7 odd lakh or 7.5 lakh companies or the players which are registered. So awareness of those schemes has to be very, very, deep-rooted, and that's where I think the platforms like MSME Promotion Council, Action Coach, Mentor My Board, the international brand equity, these are the platforms wherein, we have to create that awareness. And last but not the least, what I've seen is, definitely there are, lot of initiatives for skill building. So it's not only the entrepreneur who has to build the skill, but it's also the employees of those, the businesses, they have to be skilled. So it's also a culture which has to develop within the organization. Not only the entrepreneurs are, kind of going through the mentoring and all, but also the employee level, the employee engagement, trainings are very, very important. And that's where I feel, skill development is, though even we are talking of, I think we all are at a very nascent stage and we have a long way to go there.
Yeah, very true on this. And in fact, on 27th, I was in a chamber speaking about this, and then I found out I've done a little bit of R&D on that. What has government done for us? There is a scheme called RAMP. Okay, RAMP is Raising and Accelerating MSME Performance, which is very active from 2016. It was declared by the government from 2016, but as of now, MSMEs have not been being very, very active in this. Probably they don't know. So this is one part that we have to, transfer these informations to the MSMEs. Coming back to Udyam Portal, which was launched in 2020 actually, I know several of my clients who are not still there in the Udyam Portal. They don't know what has to be, what they can achieve from that. Z scheme. How many of you are aware of the Z scheme? The zero defect, zero thing. This is this getting a bronze scheme or a gold and a silver. Bronze actually doesn't cost any money, but that is one of the criteria which every MSME and every SMSME should go through. So what you were telling actually right. There are a lot of things which has been created by the government, but probably the information has not gone through that. That is the only issue. So GEM, yes, we were walking through GEM, Mudra Yojana, PMEGP, that the Prime Minister e-governance portal is also there. Very effective in type of sales. The last one which I found it was very interesting called Champion. Yeah, so Champion was creation and harmonious application of modern processes for the MSMEs. So there are beautiful schemes and I would like to request the MSME Council also to get through that because these are the information which the MSMEs should know. Amina, coming back to you, it's very interesting that you are here and MSMEs are actually wanting what us to do. How do you think that government actually facilitate the market access of all the products, especially the export part?
I'd like to go back to what Divya was saying, and she raised a very important point. It's about awareness. Why do we not do certain things? Because mostly we are not aware of it. And a lot of schemes that you spoke about, ma'am spoke about, and Prashant was talking about, if you look at it, they are there for us to take and take benefit from. It's just because we are not aware. There is this, unfortunate skepticism when anything that's got to do with government is there in our mind. It's a limiting belief. I call it a limiting belief. Government का है तो शायद अच्छा नहीं है. How many of us think like that? When Aadhaar first came, there was a lot of skepticism around Aadhaar as well. Oh, are you going to track us anywhere, wherever we go?
Correct, very correct.
Right? So if we just let go of these limiting beliefs about anything that government is wanting to... Look, guys, we are in a democracy. We live in a country which is the largest democracy. So it is for the people, right? By the people. We have elected this government. We need to utilize what they are giving us. But if we stay on this borderline, saying शायद ये सही नहीं है, गलत है, तो हम शायद गलत में ही सोचते रह जाएंगे, सही की तरफ कभी बढ़ेंगे ही नहीं. So my humble request to every MSME owner from this platform is, go look what is in it for you. It may not be what you want all of it, but there is definitely something that you can take from it. If not one scheme like GEM, there could be something like Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. I mean, that's one of the easiest way to get credit from the government right now. So, raising the awareness, the reach out, the programs, a lot of targeting happens. The recent success of Khelo India, it's so massive because of simple awareness. If we can do it in the field of sports, I'm sure we can do it in the field of MSMEs as well. So that's what I'd like to, submit out here.
Just to add on, CGT SME is a scheme. Yeah, so that's a scheme. I think I was, probably going through statistics when I came here. Almost, I think, 1,000 crore or 1,400 crore is the amount which already has been, kind of disbursed through, it's a collaboration between the MSME ministry and SIDBI. So through that scheme, lot of people have taken benefits, but I think more and more awareness has to be created so that we are able to use. And again, today when India is really talking of becoming a world's largest exporter, lot of schemes under the exports also are available. There are export promotion councils, right? And I think, simple way to, kind of start working on something. The fear of unknown always is there for everyone. But then, there are a lot of government support which is available even for exporting to the unknown countries. And that's where you need the maximum support of government, because you really don't know what's going to happen once, your goods land there. The money will come back or not. So a lot of guarantee schemes are there by the government. So I think, that's an area where a lot of manufacturers should really look forward to. Thank you.
With this, I want to go back to Amiya once more. I want to ask you actually, what do you think the initiatives should a government take over to handle these MSMEs and bring in more culture about it?
Purely from a coach's lens and a perspective.
Yeah, that's what I ask you this.
The first and foremost thing is build confidence. What prompted me to get into business coaching was a mere statement that I read in one of the leading newspapers. 85% of companies, small companies, MSMEs, fail in the first 7 years from when they start up. And that's a huge number. 85% is a number that nobody should feel proud of. because these companies, no matter what the unit is in terms of number, they are there to provide employment, sustainability, livelihood to a lot of people that are dependent on them. If you're 30% contributors to the GDP of the country, if even half of those 85% don't fail, that 30 would easily become 60%. Imagine the scale at which we are looking at contribution to the GDP of our country. So, having this confidence that we are here to support you is of, most importance for me. And that's where some bit of programs at a grassroots level need to be done. I was a speaker at MSME Sammelan last year in Uttar Pradesh. They have this fantastic concept of one district, one product. Imagine the kind of confidence artisans have got in those districts. They are promoting those products day in, day out across the globe. How many of you know Bardoi? Anyone knows Bardoi? It's a small place outside of Varanasi. 1400 crore worth of carpets get exported from there across the globe. 1400 crores. But Badoi, sorry, not Badoi, Badoi. 1400 crore. Unimaginable. The town's probably population is not more than 1 lakh. Must be less than lakh. They're so proud of that product. If we create something like that, that confidence, the pride in taking our product across, not just the country, but across the globe, that's going to be a game changer for everyone.
Thank you, Amay. Hello? Yeah, thank you, Amay, for that. Mr. Pranab, you being from the real estate business, right? That is one business which is, I think, growing in a big way and people are expecting a lot of it. So what type of tax incentives or benefits are available in that industry?
So, I think there's a huge number of SMEs and MMSEs that operate in the real estate sector. So what government has done basically to promote is on the affordable housing side, where most of the contribution happens. So in terms of input tax credit, as well as, the GST rate is also for on the lower side. Because the idea is that if the real estate sector grows, it creates employability and demand from SMEs and MMSE sectors. One example I'll give you, when the government of India promoted affordable housing, it came up in a big way. Unfortunately, after pandemic, what we have seen that contribution is significantly coming down. And what is, the observation is that while the big businesses have, come back quickly, the small scale industries are still struggling. And, when we are trying to dig down deeper, what was the reason? One thing that we have forgot to mention in this platform is that the adoption of digital age, digitalization, was something which helped the bigger businesses to thrive even during the pandemic. And the lack of digitalization and adoption of digital strategy was one of the key reasons for this SMEs and MMCs to kind of lag behind. So I think, coming back to your point in terms of incentive, I think there are a lot of product that government has kind of categorized under SMEs that gets a lot of rebate in real estate in terms of input tax credit and lower GST rate. So these are the two major benefits that the government is passing on to them. But again, I would again urge those entrepreneurs basically is to adopt what is kind of going to change the way we do business. That is, be digital savvy. That's the way the world is moving.
So just to add on, in fact, I think this is the time of survival of the fittest. And if the businesses are fit, and when we talk of the fit businesses, they have the systems, processes, good governance in place. And, those will be the businesses which will be surviving in the long run. So all the SMEs and MSMEs should really, really focus on making their entire structure very strong. And again, taking benefits of various schemes. So I think, survival of the fittest is what I always, keep observing. People who are surviving, they probably have the stronger systems.
Yeah, it is always, the survival is always for the best people. Right? That's what it is actually. So, thank you all of you are here on this board. Talking about, one question I would like to ask you before we end up this session is, how does the government actually promote the ease of doing business for the MSMEs?
So when we really talk of ease of doing business, because I am a company secretary, I've seen, there was a time when, once you incorporate a company, then you go and, you take your PAN card, PAN number, TAN number, then you go to export and you take your EXIM license, you go to GST, then you take your GST registration separately. So I think, today with one agile form, once you incorporate a company, you are able to get almost 20 registrations in one form. So that's kind of a ease of business is definitely there, but yes, different challenges are there of the technology. The system at the Ministry of Corporate Affairs also, gives little goosebumps to us also. But yes, I mean, there are a lot of initiatives taken, and ease of doing, I mean, again, kind of, promoting, I mean, the main challenge comes for the businesses is the funding. So through various credit guarantee schemes and all, they have been making sure, and especially even the export guarantee, export promotion guarantee schemes, that you are not stuck anywhere and you are able to move your, flow of your business smoothly. So a lot of initiatives, I think all the initiatives what we discussed are helping in ease of doing business. Thank you.
Thank you, Devajit. Thank you, Amaya. Thank you, Mr. Pranab. With this, I mean, we just close the show out here. In the interest of time, there's some other sessions also coming up. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
So, and also now, requesting everybody to please be on stage. I'll request Mr. Kumar Saurabh, Business Head, International Brand Equity, to please come forward and felicitate our panelist and our moderator. Requesting Mr. Kumar Saurabh to please come forward and felicitate our moderator, Kaushik Chandra, Business Coach, Action Coach. Can we have a huge round of applause, everyone? Thank you, Ms. Divya Momaya, founder, mentor my board. Thank you, Mr. Amaya Pradhan, business coach, action coach. Thank you, Mr. Prashant Thakur, senior director at Anna Rock. Thank you so much for a gracious presence and what a fabulous panel discussion. Thank you so much for being so informative for all of us out here. Thank you. Well, moving ahead, let's look out for another Power Pack panel session out here. Well, talking about if there is one sector that has faced the highest degree of disruption in recent years, it has to be MSME. The last few years have definitely been challenging, and some crises that we have felt for many small-scale enterprises around the globe. Well, yet they continue to create jobs as well as support urban and rural economy. That's not all. World Bank estimate which suggests SMEs represent about 90% of the business and more than 50% of the employment worldwide. Thus, enterprises contribute to over 30% of GDP and employ over 110 million people in India itself. Moving to 2023, well, ladies and gentlemen, increasingly digital economy, MSME sector will have to ride on digitization wave to scale and stay very competitive. So what will it be like this sector digitalize its operations, including their forward and backward linkages? Well, to talk more and put light on a very fabulous topic, digitalization, disrupting the MSME industry, I shall call upon few finalists and panelists out here and the speakers. Well, the moderator for this panel will be Khushbu Soni, Chief Editor and Founder of CIO News. Can we have a huge round of applause? Well, she will be moderating this absolutely wonderful session, and joining her on stage, the panelist will be Kaushik Banerjee, Vice President, Better Place, Rachna Chaudhary, Founder, MSME Development Center and Director, Media Value Works, and joining them on stage will be Amit Vadera, Managing Director, Protivity. Can we have a huge round of applause for all of them? Well, panelist and moderator, I shall request you to please take it forward from here.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being patiently sitting and enjoying this event today. Thank you so much, MSME Promotion Council, for having us all together at this event. And I'm sure There are key takeaways for all of us to learn from each other. Thank you, panelists. I'm really looking forward to have an interactive session and talk about the most important topic, which is digitalization. Um, Before I move forward, I just request each of the panelists to give a quick introduction about yourself, and then we'll move forward.
Sure, thank you. So I think it's lunch hour and people are almost looking at the watch, so we'll make it quick. So my name is Rachna Chaudhary, and I live in Delhi. In fact, today I've come from Delhi. And I used to be the Bombay girl, but I moved to Delhi. And I'm essentially a communications marketing person with over 25 years of experience in the niche on understanding brand communications. And I enable hundreds of small and medium enterprises. And my journey has been all through media, marketing, communication strategies, building the right strategy so you're influencing the right customer, and then the right customer comes back to you, and then you have sustained business model running. So that's the kind of business that I have been doing. And thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here. Over to my other co-panelists. Thank you.
Thanks, Khushbu. Thanks, Ratna. Hi, everyone. My name is Amit Vadera. Child of Defense Forces parents. Have stayed in multiple states within the country. I have spent 20 years helping organizations solve people problem. I'm a people supply chain specialist. I'm known in the industry to support organization to scale up their people challenges, strategy, communication, marketing. So look forward for this session and share my experience. Of course, there's a lot of learning around with so many panelists. So look forward to having an interactive session. Thank you.
Hey, hi. I'm Kaushik. So obviously, I have roughly about over 2 decades of experience in the recruitment, education, and real estate space. So I am a business leader. I think obviously by heart a sales guy all throughout, but I think obviously last 5-6 years I'm running one of the verticals in Better Place. That's about it. I wanted to obviously discuss, not take too much time for people to go on lunch. So obviously we'll try and wrap it up as soon as possible. Thank you.
Great, fantastic. A quick introduction to myself. I'm Khushbu Soni. I'm the founder of CIO News and Mercadio. We are a marketing and a media company. We basically cater to the MSMEs and the technology industry vertical, where we help them to share their journeys, their best practices. India has seen a lot of change in the last couple of years. We have evolved, we have transformed, we have disrupted, and now we are aiming big, right? So we are helping to share that journey. We are here to, talk about your journey, your challenges, your best practices that you implement, and, put it up on our platform so that people can actually learn from each other. So that's what we do. Today's topic is digitalization, and we all know that this is one of the major areas that everybody is looking at focusing. From the last 2-3 years after pandemic, digitalization has become the key. If you are not on digital, or if your business is not on digital, you will face challenges, right? So one of the topic which Amay had covered in his presentation was, what is the must-haves? What are the learnings that we've got, after the pandemic? One is that how can we become more digitally available for our customers, for our employees? How can we transform work digitally? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And with that, Rachna, I have my first question for you. How have MSMEs adapted their business processes to leverage digitalization?
Sure. Thank you. So in the last, say, about 5 years, I have seen there has been an accelerated increasing inquiries and demands from various kinds of MSMEs, different industries. You probably would have never noticed an industry, but they are willing to come forward. And when we talk digitalization, the first and the foremost thing is about what to write to publish on website, how to create a website, what is the website strategy, what is the pricing strategy, and then it goes on. Digitalization from the D till the N of the word is integrated one across other. And then the banking, and then the e-payment gateway, and then it goes on and on. So it's nowhere that you do an isolated digitalization. When digitalization journey starts from the concept of the person till the end goal, it's automation throughout, and that's extensive network. We've seen extensive growth in the MSMEs. We've got queries from tier 2, 3 cities from India who are regularly writing back, asking us for the right solutions to help them transform. And we've been almost solving at least 20 odd cases every month. And when we say solving, as in scaling them up by giving them the right solutions, whether it is content marketing solutions. If they have scaled up from the scratch, then they want to do the next level. How do you go to the next level? So that's when the content marketing edge comes in. And if they've done the content marketing, then again the next level. So channel partnership, affiliate marketing, it goes on and on. So I think 20 odd companies every month I can easily vouch for is the scale. That one small person is getting an inquiry. You can imagine if hundreds of such inquiries are being floated.
Right, absolutely. Very, very well said. I mean, I think, so there are two areas, right? One is your business being available on digital platforms like social media platforms or LinkedIn, etc., right? So one is being available, continuously posting up something on digital platform. And second is actually transforming your business to digital. So if, say for example, Flipkart or Amazon, they are the digital born companies. Today, organizations who start their business on digital platforms are the actual digitalized organizations, right? So that's one aspect. And the other aspect is being available on digital social media platforms, right? So there are two aspects of it, and we'll be covering both of it. Thanks, Rachna. Amit, my next question is for you. Any suggestions that you have that how MSMEs can leverage both of these aspects, to be digitally available for their customers?
Sure, thanks, Khushbu. So, I'll just step back, and I want to kind of put another thought on the first point, opening remarks that you were making, right? See, first of all, I think the crowd that we are addressing, which is MSME, it is a backbone of the country, right? And we all know that. And it is purely because of the resilience that it brings on, right? It is this MSME who has survived so many ups and downs, from 2008 to COVID, demonetization, and so many things, right? So, the aspect that you made, that if you are not digital, you are nowhere. Actually, I have a different opinion on this. AI, we all talk about AI is going to take away jobs. Actually, AI is not going to take away jobs. People who don't use AI, they will lose jobs. So, and how do we use it, right? And today, I think the world has evolved so much that digitalization and practicing digital is a matter of how flexible you are to learn more. It is so simple that anybody sitting in this room can do the basic without any expert help. And there are such, open AIs available free of cost that you don't have to do it. You, of course, have to open your system and work. And that's a step forward that everybody has to try. But anybody can run their own show effectively. Only thought is that they want to do it. So you take a step forward and it's there. Now, coming to your point on, how do you leverage, right? Social media is, of course, an important platform to showcase what you are good at doing, to reach out this thing. And these are all enablers, right? The problems that we all had 20 years back remain same. 20 years back when I started, working, and some of us can relate, every parent used to say, try for a government job, right? Uh, uh, you know, now it now it's a taxi cab relationship. Nobody wants to work in a company for 20 years, 25 years, which our parents used to do, right? Now, why is that? Why is that change? Because today you have to adapt yourself to learn more things, right? And the problems remain same. It's the way you solve the problems. Earlier, to impart news, there used to be newspaper. Now, to impart news, there is a newspaper, but there is a social media also, right? So you are just, the way of communication has changed, but communication still has to be there, right? I mean, and I'll take a couple of examples. Let's say people who are content writers, right, or who are, editors in this thing. You go to Chat GTP, they can easily help you write an article. Now, the question is, and I I go to a lot of media, this thing and talk about it, whether it's CNBC or Z and so on and so forth. This question media people do ask, saying that what will happen to our jobs? Nothing is going to happen until unless you don't learn to use the technology, right? Now, if you are able to write one article in 2 days' time, ChatGTP can help you to write 5 articles in 2 days' time. But you still have to put your expertise in it. You have to create an emotional quotient. Like, I'm a sales guy. Robots are not going to do sales. They cannot give my expressions. They cannot understand the person, about. They can enable me. They can help me read the opposite person, right? How do I need to present it? So let's not be afraid about technology. Let's accept it as part of us, right? I mean, how many people now afraid of using Paytm? 20 years back, I remember meeting Vijay, the founder, and he reached out saying that he wants our help in promoting this. And I used to work for a staffing company where we were hiring for him, and I was like, yeah, it's a new company. Who would want to work with you? And what is this? What's the risk? And this thing. So each one of us have this habit that if there is not something new which comes up, we try to resist, right? I think let's look at accepting everything with open arms, because these are the things which is going to help us in long run. I mean, today we are talking about UPI and all of this. This is all which started 15, 18 years back, and we all resisted it. But it's all positive. So digitization is a positive move, but one cautious thing is, don't stop learning at any age. My dad is 75 and he uses Instagram in his free time, right? And I'm amazed with the way he knows how to use the technology. So all of us will be surprised the moment we start using it. There are so many ideas, because India is a country, of ideas, of thoughts, and of courage, right? I mean, we are courageous people. Please use this courageously, and we all are going to survive. No Amazons, Flipkarts, nobody is going to take away MSME away. MSME is there to stay. It's going to bind all of us strong and long.
Thank you so much, Amit. Fantastic. Kaushik, Better Place is a SaaS company, right? And it provides SaaS solutions. How do you see MSME? What is the response that you see from the MSME industry? For SaaS solutions, for getting their business converted to SaaS.
Yeah, so if you would have asked me this 5 years back, nobody would knew what is SaaS is. Today, everybody understands SaaS. Obviously, the metro city does for the last 2, 3 years, 4 years. But surprisingly, even if you go to a city like Meerut also, a MSME company would know what SaaS is. The only difference may be they would want their end user to know it in their language. So if you look at today, most of the players have started the language thing. So do you have 35 language, 40 languages in India? Do you have it or not? So that's one thing which is, so obviously people have, the MSME have started using it. Then they have realized that their end users wants it in their language. Today, if you look at about 2, 3 years back also, if you go Uber or a Ola driver looks at Facebook and Insta post, but then they want it in their language, okay? So Facebook had to adopt it in terms of making it in our language. So obviously, not only tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, everybody has started using it. But most of them, so let's say from a manufacturing setup per se, or a pharmaceutical per se, most of 50% of their workforce would be in the front line, 50% of them. Okay, now the HR would today only spend about 1 to 2% in the IT spends, but it's a way inefficient use. They don't have time to go through all the data. They don't. There are a lot of attrition which happens. So, but obviously with the SaaS platforms coming in and which helping them, it's a robust system, but it saves time for them. It's about 15 to 20% of savings happening on the finance side of it also. So the attritions are much lesser. And I am not surprised to see the adoption which is taking place by MSME in the rural areas also. I mean, if you look at it, people will say, okay, yes, I have a website also, I have an app also, or something like that. I mean, so that's something which has come up, and that's the thing for me. And the penetration of internet has gone into so remotest of the place that even if today you want to find a candidate anywhere, any MSME giving them lucrative offers also, he will fly from here to there. So that's the best part about it. That's thank you.
Fantastic. So, Amit mentioned that, instead of fearing going on digital, or, we know that it's definitely going to help, and we've seen how today India is getting recognized for UPI across the world, right? So there are definitely benefits to it. So instead of fearing, let's accept and let's move forward. And I mean, who has option, right? We have to be on digital now. We don't have any other option with the way it's moving forward. But it's good to hear, Kaushik, that also, MSMEs are accepting to transform, to go on digital, and there is a lot of acceptance. So now that we know, it's there, industry is accepting, we're moving forward. Rachna, if you can highlight, from the you mentioned there are about 20 inquiries that come in every month, where organizations are interested to be seen on digital platforms. Right now, we're talking about the social media platforms here. Do you see challenges where they think that they're not ready with content? They don't know what to. Do they have a vision? Do you see that they lack, a clear path in terms of their digital journey? And do you see that some of the challenges from MSMEs?
I'll address that. Yeah. So what happens at 20 odd other cases that we are solving, but the inquiries are far, far, far higher. You got to, every MSME needs to undergo a lot of learning before even he or she is mentally ready to become a digital ready company. That journey in India, I believe, is the core that we all need to address. Is that foundation, when Amay was explaining the -1 student level, this teaching to the entire country at -1, I mean, I would always imagine, this is the time we should have schools for adults, 35 plus. Teach digital, simple. It should be the same nursery, pre-nursery. Why not? We got to just teach digital to 35 onwards, 40 onwards, maybe 50 onwards, 60, 80. Just Make a school, digital ready school. If we do that, we are going to leapfrog. We are a digital savvy country, but we are digital savvy in using WhatsApp and social media and all that, or sending the namaste messages and the good morning messages that the world knows about, that India sends, I don't know how many billions of data is being sent because good morning messages are being circulated. But using digital in the business or making a digital ready workflow needs a lot of understanding. That needs to be at ground level built in. And I'm working towards it by having a couple of forums, workshops, and doing that in our own, small kitty. But I think the digital school is the answer to this question, is making them ready.
Sure. Amit, your thoughts on this?
So, I personally feel, and, many of us think that we should have, develop a technology of our own and stuff like that. I mean, not required. You don't have to build it. You can buy it. It's available at a very cheap price. Anything that we do, I mean, the ONDC, I'm sure many of you would have heard about ONDC. It's a fantastic thing this country has done, right? To give opportunity to small retailers, MSMEs to put their, services or product on it, right? Now, these are the things that at a country level we are doing, right? I mean, look at the way UPI or RuPay card has been used, right? I mean, it's a direct competition to Visa and Master, where they were the only two guys who were doing it. Now, which means as a country we have a power to do all of these things, and MSME, don't have to. I mean, all of us don't have to think that we will build everything. Not required. Just buy it or just take it on rent. Till the time you don't figure things out. A website can be made in 2 hours to 3 hours with 2,000 rupees as capital, right? And you can learn all of this on Google. Thanks, it's free. We have the lowest data, expense globally, so we can do all of these things. And I think one important thing I would want to highlight. There's some interesting thing which is called reverse mentoring. You don't have to look for mentors as elders. Reverse mentoring is a concept where your kids, which are in teens, are the ones who will teach you guys everything, right? Now, but, we actually don't listen to them, right? I mean, we don't have the habit of listening to them. We think our experience and our gray hairs knows more than them. But in these areas, they actually know much better. Use that. I especially hired, after 20 years of experience, I hired an intern who is actually mentoring me, who is helping me to know which are the new technologies coming in, which areas it can solve the problem, and they are so good at doing research. So I hired one person in my team just to do that. Just that he can teach me, on this thing. So I would urge you guys to please use the young blood, around, right? Your kids are much more enthusiastic, passionate about these things. I mean, we often think that kids only do, social media and Facebook and all. Not really. I mean, they are good at doing that. Use them. I think we have everything around us which can be used to learn things. My only point, and which I would want to continuously highlight in this forum, is don't lose the habit of learning. That's the only habit that's going to help you. I mean, if you don't learn, then you can go down. Nothing else can take you down.
Absolutely.
Great. Thanks. Thank you, Amit. So, okay, we've discussed the importance. We've been talking about it. We discussed the importance of digitalization. This one thread that we always have is about the security, right? With the amount of cyber threats, the cyber crimes that are going on, there's so much of threat that if I put my data out on any digital platform, or if I showcase of what I've been doing if I put that up on any social media sites, what if that data has been misused, right? So these are some of the, threats that we feel that are out there. Um, I wanted to ask Kaushik, you being, like I said, a SaaS provider, software as a service company, do you uh, believe, and how do you cater to questions like these where, data privacy, cyber security, or, in the importance of digitalization, how important is cybersecurity, and how do you basically cater to these kind of queries that come up?
So if you look at it, Amazon didn't come with the e-commerce platform first in India. They came with their web services, which was only based on cloud and the data security. So that's the largest business they have. And if you look at it in India or globally also, the data security is the largest business. And so, having said that, obviously, there is still about 0.93% of cases which happens every month, and there's data leakage which is there, but it has come down from about 11, 12% about 5 years back to now about less than 1% in India. Honestly speaking, there's obviously room for, there's always a room for something learn. So either you learn or you make those things perfect. You try to make those things perfect, but that doesn't hamper too much in terms of your the MSMEs going on digital. That absolutely doesn't happen. So if today the MSMEs are only at the start end, so for their requirement will not be in terms of data privacy and security and all of it. They just want to showcase their business. They want to leverage the digital platforms for their businesses, which is not going to hamper them. So if you look at it today, 6, 7 years back also, nobody knew QR codes. You can go to a Nariyal Pani Wala also today, he has a QR code. So, but the effort put in by that sales guy to constantly tell him, take it, it is for your good. Today you go to him, he said, no, I'll not take cash, you give me in QR. So, because he understood, after using it, he has understood that, yes, this is helping me a lot and it makes sense for me. So, people are ready to accept that data privacy is a long-term thing, which is gonna be there, and hopefully everybody one day will be able to tighten the screws in terms of making sure that the data doesn't get leaked. But that is not going to hamper the MSMEs as of now. It's more from a banking perspective today, which is, I would say, India is in safe hands in terms of the data privacy today.
Right.
Actually,
And also, yes,
Kushbu,
Amit.
I just want to add, right? So I work for a company named Protivity. It's a global consulting firm, right? Like Big Fours. And we especially focus on governance, risk compliance. We focus on cybersecurity, fraud forensics. And, for us, we did a next future 10 years survey. There are, of the top 10 risks, cybersecurity is number one till 2032. It's going to become big. We are all in it together. Cyber risk is going to be the biggest risk for all of us. The second would be talent, not having skilled talent. So the only thing which can stop India's growth is not skilling ourselves up. So skill talent can be the only thing which can this thing. But cybersecurity is going to be a risk. We will have to accept it. I think the good part is that our regulators are very strong, right? And we should be proud of it. So our RBI, which is a regulatory body for the financial risk, and that's where the maximum this thing is. They're so strong, and in globally we are ranked, top 3 in the security per se. So the regulations they have put in, whether it's a fintech or a QR code, this thing, or banking is pretty strong, right? At the same time, I think the top organizations that we use or any of MSMEs would use to do their business are being robustly, taken care of. I mean, I'll possibly I'm forgetting the website name. I can give you the website. I mean, all of our data is already out in the public domain. Let's agree. I mean, we are all our basic data is already, there in the public domain. So don't worry too much because of that, not use it. We are at the least of the risk. The MSMEs is at the least of the risk. I mean, they will first target the big organizations. So I think we're kind of, safe on that. But there's a lot happening in cybersecurity. So, a career advice, if your kids want to get into any career, this thing, cybersecurity is in thing. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, I mean, it's a journey. Digital is a journey, cybersecurity is a journey. And we have to be equipped to both. There is no stopping of not going to digital because that's where the world is moving, right? So we have to. And every step we take, we need to secure ourselves. We need to make sure we take the corrective measures when moving on to digital platforms. So I've attended many forums where we've spoken about cybersecurity right from MSMEs to the large organizations. And one thing that we all know that this is a journey and we all have to keep working towards it, because as equipped we become criminals, cyber criminals become equally equipped, right? So they are continuously on it, and but that doesn't stop us to moving to digital platforms. So there is, you got to take your own corrective measures, and we all got to move forward to digitalization. It was a wonderful panel. Rachna, you have something to add on.
I wanted to add, one of the biggest edge that we've been helping MSMEs of India are, once you're getting ready with digital, your world opens up. Go global and you expand on your territories. That's the core thing that we need to, and that's something which is happening very well in India. And we want to continue on our journey of enabling, go global, because if you're digital, then there is no limitation on your markets. That's the key for all of us to take away, getting ready as digital.
Absolutely, right? We get so much of awareness and so much of mileage to be on digital. Wonderful conversation with all of you. Thank you so much for
Pleasure
taking
is
our
ours.
time
Thank
and
you.
joining.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for such an informative and productive session out here. Well, nothing comes easy, be it digitalization or cybersecurity. And now I shall request our panelists to be on stage, Mr. Kumar Saurabh, to please come forward and felicitate our moderator, Khushbu Soni, Chief Editor and Founder of CIO News. Thank you so much, Ms. Rachna Chaudhary, Founder, MSME Development Center and Director, Media Value Works. Thank you, Mr. Amit Vadera, Managing Director, ProTVT. Thank you, Mr. Kaushik Banerjee, Vice President, Better Place. Can we have a huge round of applause, everybody, for this amazing session out here? Thank you so much for sharing this immense knowledge. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Also, now I think we all are really, kind of hungry, I think so, and really dying to hear the 3 words from me. The lunch is open. So, we shall be headed from the scrumptious meal that is being served outside, and we shall be back in next half an hour, probably 35 minutes, good to go. Please maintain the timeline, as we would like to have you here on board on time, because we have another panel discussion followed with the awards. Thank you so much. The lunch is served outside. Kindly be grateful and kindly be over there, and please enjoy the scrumptious